Fam. This is a big show for us. Welcome back to the CONVO Couch. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella. Happy Monday.
Yes, it is. And it's also a happy day for me. I sent you a little text, you and Nico, you and Johnny, and let you know that I am officially out of the Twitter red.
Well, that's congratulations, fam. I thought we had bigger news today, but
well, that is a big news for me, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to say thank you because I now have more followers than people I'm following.
Fam.
They ridiculed me, they made fun, but I hung in there, and I spoke
when
no
that,
one
Ron?
listened.
Ron Placone, breaking news. Pasta does Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for coming in and joining in. We've been having some great shows. We already have 15 people on the CONVO Couch YouTube. Boo, Hi Pasta, she says. Freedom Tribe. On the MCSC network, where they're pouring on in, fam, as usual. Nathan Daniels there. Casa Station. A Dingo Ate Me Baby, which is a great name. Dog. Jorge Luis 88. And on the Facebook, we have Herb Schreiber saying, Hi, fam.
Hi, fam.
So, fam, we're going to play a little game to start off with, okay?
Another game.
Another game. I love my games and stuff.
He
but
loves games.
Don't tell me that when you were watching that debate, every single time one of these establishment foes answered those questions, you weren't like, that's the wrong answer. I saw a lot of thumbs down from you on debate night.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of hard to impress when you lie out of your teeth, but
and you bullshit and platitude. So one of our subscribers and good friends, James Brogowski, a.k.a. The Goose, said, Pasta, you and Fee should go on there and answer those questions the way they should be answered properly. Now, I was going to let you go first, but I want to show you how it's done because even though I consider you to be more educated than me, smarter than me, maybe at times a little bit more wittier than me and stuff, you're not like a politician like me. You're not a schmoozer like me, baby. You don't know how to work the crowd. So I got myself a tie, and we're going to start off with B, Johnny, because I want to show her how it's done. Okay. And we're going to answer these questions as if the way the candidate should have answered these questions.
I was going to had to wear a suit and tie, fam. Next time I'll wear
fam, if you're going to win a debate, and out there on YouTube land, I want you guys to vote. I mean, I don't know if it's really a vote, but you can acknowledge when I kick Fiorella's butt in this game on our chat to say who won. Well, I'm going to suck right out of the gate. It's going to really, really stink.
Sorry, guys.
Now, remember.
Pasta can tie a tie.
I can also make a good sauce. Fam, it's no meat Monday for me, so when we're done over here, I want to go over to the salad bar and load up. I need some hummus. I need some vegetables. I need some greenery. I've been having too much.
You should turn it into 2 days a week.
Well, can you fix my collar over here, please? Just put it down, thank you. I mean, it's strangling me as is. I can't wait to go. All right.
There you go.
How do I look? Debate prep is ready.
Okay.
Okay. We're in the setting. Here we are.
Great.
That's my debate face look if I was on MSNBC. Beto gets that thing.
Honestly, the blue looks great, fam.
Fam, I look great. Please stop. I got more. I'm a Twitter star now. Let's go. Question B. Let's go.
The next question is for you. Democrats have been talking about the pay gap for decades. What would you do to ensure that women are paid fairly?
Well, thank you very much. That's a great question. Thank you for having me here. And it's an important question. But let me tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. It's an easy question because we have to come forth with legislation that protects women at the workplace. Equal pay, no strings attached. And let me tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. If we're for women's rights, we just can't protect them at the workplace. We got to protect them at home. We need maternity leave for women. 14 weeks guaranteed, just like in Europe, no strings attached. And furthermore, finally, I say we let women get in the room and make decisions for what women's health care should be like, not a bunch of white old men who are sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. Did you get me my applause? Did you hear that stuff?
I don't even know if you were being truthful. And 14, did you
Thank
say 14
you so much.
weeks?
14 weeks guaranteed maternity leave.
Is that even enough?
Paid maternity, guaranteed. Well, that's what the average is in Europe.
Okay.
And guess what it is in the United States?
What?
Bupkis. 0. There is no guaranteed maternity leave. Yeah. Paid maternity leave for women in this country. So as you can see, fam, I work the moderator, I work the crowd. You ready to give it a shot?
You were kind of fake, though. I don't know if I like that.
Fam,
so.
you got it. Listen, we're working the audience over here. Let me move this a little bit closer.
The
right
audience, yeah. Well, I'm talking to the American people.
Well,
that's who we should be talking to, right?
I think I answered the question pretty damn well, fam. Thank you, Michael Cruz, James Gruguski.
Good job, fam. Okay, fine.
Yeah. All right, let's go, fam. They're gonna ask you. Let's focus in on fam now. It's your turn, fam. You got to work the crowd.
Fam, leave me alone. I'm not you.
The crowd. Come on. Get those votes.
You're the mayor of the biggest city in the United States, but it's also one of the cities in the country with the greatest gap between the wealthy and the poor. How would you address income inequality?
Okay, first of all, the greatest gap between the wealth and the poor is also a connection between our minority communities and our Caucasian communities. If everybody has Medicare for all, we will allow more money for people to have to spend on other things if they don't have to pay their medical bills. If we provide a housing right, then people don't have to worry about overpaying for their house. So I would address the pragmatic issues of my community by paying attention directly to what the economic needs that the American people need. The economic needs being basic health care, free education, affordable minimum wage, and housing as a human right. And that way, the American people will have more money to put back into small businesses. I would also give tax cuts to the small businesses in my community, as well as have the high income people pay higher taxes.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, listen, I think that you got to start off a little bit more schmoozing. Like you should have addressed, thank you for asking me that question, kind of build it up a little bit more. And then you got to get a little bit more of a stamp of approval at the end. Yeah, a little bit more. You got to be a little bit more fluff. You can still have the same message and just a little bit more fluff. You got to be easy, fam. Not everybody in here is going to be in our bubble. Let's go to foreign policy. Let me show you how it's done on foreign policy, fam.
I don't know, fam.
Okay, let's go. First of all, you got to get this face right here. You see this concerned face, like that hard look? Like you're serious.
I like Tulsi and Bernie's approach more. Just answering the question straight up.
Can I answer? It's my microphone. Question number 4, D. Here we go.
We're going to talk about Iran right now because we're going against the clock. Tankers have been attacked. The U.S. drone has been shot down. There have been disturbing threats issued by both the U.S. and Iranian leadership. I'd like if you can't just for a moment to put aside how you think we may have gotten here. But what I want to know is how do you dial it back?
Well, thank you for that question, but I think the way you kind of framed it, Lester, you manufactured a little bit consent. You said that tankers have been attacked, drones have been shot down, and you really haven't done the homework. And secondly, we can't address that question unless we do go back and figure out how we got here. And only by then, once we take accountability for what we did to Iran, then can the healing process can begin. And after we admit our accountability, we will then promise to never do it again. Secondly, sanctions are an act of war. We need to lift the sanctions. Only the poor people of Iran will suffer the needs. Will suffer the wrath of these sanctions. And third, we have to get back into the Iran deal. We have to go back out there and tell the Iranians they did their part, and it's time for us to do that. So those 3 things need to happen. Forgiveness and a promise that it will never happen again, lift the sanctions, and get back into the deal. Fam, do you see how it was done? You see how you got to get a little bit more oof.
Just keep being an arrogant white man, Pasta, on camera.
But I might be an arrogant white man. That might get me some votes, though, from those arrogant white men watching. And nevertheless, I said the things that are important.
No, you did.
I said that sanctions are an act of war, and not one of our candidates has done that
You
yet.
were dying to say that.
I was. I've been saying it around the house.
You have.
I think that Tulsi Gabbard, if she says that, it's really going to set her alone.
I agree. Bernie and Tulsi need to absolutely focus on that.
They have to say sanctions are an act of war. Fam, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Iran right now because we're going against the clock. Tankers have been attacked.
Turn to an issue that has been in the news, especially this week. There are undocumented children being held alone in detention. Even as close as Homestead, Florida, right here, less than 30 miles from where we are tonight. Fathers and mothers and children are dying while trying to enter the United States of America. We saw that image today that broke our hearts, and they had names. Oscar Martinez and his 23-month-old daughter Valeria died trying to cross the river to ask for asylum in this country. Last month, more than 130,000 migrants were apprehended at the southern border. Secretary Castro, if you were president today, what would you specifically do?
Well, first of all, we have to stop calling this an immigration crisis and call it a humanitarian crisis, which is exactly what it is. We need to pay attention to the issues that have led to this very moment. And in fact, we have to also know that we are the ones at fault for what is actually happening right now at the border. I've gone down to the border, I've gone down to Tijuana, and I've talked to several people, and they have told me stories of how their country, mainly from Honduras, many of them are mainly from Honduras, was ravaged when in 2009, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton went in there under the Obama administration and helped install own puppet corporatist candidate instead of the democratically elected leader in Honduras. And that is what in turn caused Honduras to fall into this, what we know now, where there are gangs, where there are just economic disparity that they can't escape from. And so what these people are doing is that they have no choice but to come here in droves because their country is ravaged from war. And so ultimately what I would do is completely undo everything President Donald Trump has done, ensure that Dreamers and DACA recipients get everything they need, and abolish ICE, because ICE is a fascist institution that does not need to exist and is only there for purposes of racism, bigotry, and homophobia.
Yay! Fam, you did good there. Well, I don't think, fam, you don't like the fluff. That's the thing. Like, fam can never be a candidate. She don't have the fluff and stuff. You know, I would have gone in there and I'm like, it's heart-wreshing to see that Oscar Martinez
I disagree
died.
with that. I disagree with that.
But the truth is,
how many people want the fluff? I think as progressives, I'm just sick and tired of people paying attention to that. Like, someone can up there. No. I know. Someone can get up there and give a great performance, and that's why we have the Kamala Harrises of the world, because they give a great performance and it's all a bunch of lies. I'd rather have someone telling me straight up what they're doing. And I think you're underestimating how many people are actually sick of the fluff. Real talk, like outside of this, what we're doing, I think people, yes, you need someone that has conviction, that is going out there and saying things, but you also need to keep in mind, like we see fluff every day on the television. We see fluff every day in reality TV. Like, I'm honestly sick and tired of it. I don't want anything to do with it, and I want to pick candidates that are like that as well.
So Michael Cruz agrees with you. He says, no fluff, please. Backyard Politics says, no more fluff, super progressive. You two look great. So chic, thank you so much. I know. I brought it with the tie today.
Thank you guys for the shirt that you guys are sending.
You did.
I appreciate it.
Who'd they send the shirt to? Thank you, super progressive. Fiorella thanks you for her shirt, extra large next time. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell us who you thought, just for fun, won the debate.
Pasta gets competitive. So.
Well, it's just to get the crowd involved, too, as well. I want to say Joe Snake, 100. I
think Pasta had a lot of energy. I'm sorry I didn't drink my coffee this morning, but...
All Jesus, Ren Sten, Cass Station, thank you so much, guys. Over on the Facebook, we have Rocky B, Herb Schneider, Gilbert Flores, as always. We love you, fam. But, fam, I know it's Monday Mischief Day. It's what I'm kind of calling it. The mischief hasn't stopped because I think we should do something. Mm-hmm. You put up some stuff the other day about, since we're talking about immigration, Nancy Pelosi. Why don't you tell the crowd what's been going on? Because I talked about our intervention, which has really pissed me off about Nancy Pelosi, particularly when it comes to San Francisco. But what on yourself? What did you put up the other day? What do these letters mean? Can we go down a little bit on the doc and get to the next letter? That's the one I put up. It's an article. Yours is the one below it, I think. You put up 2 articles.
Oh, yeah, that is. Okay. Awesome.
Can you explain to me? Okay. Yeah, we're going out of order because we're gonna call Nancy Pelosi's office in a little bit, and we're gonna complain to Nancy what's going on. But it says, "Dear Democratic colleague." If you go down to that one, is that the one?
It's the big letter, Johnny.
Dear Democratic colleague.
That one.
Can you read this and explain to us what this is all about?
Okay, so it says, "Dear Democratic colleague, it is my belief that Our country is at a moment of truth in acting upon our values with the policies we present. I am proud of the work of our Appropriations Committee in the House in passing a bill that's received overwhelming Democratic support on Tuesday. The current situation on the border is shameful and does not reflect our values. We don't need anyone, especially the U.S. Senate, to tell us what the needs are at the border. Our members are very well versed and excellent representatives of the regions that are affected, but we want to find a path to improve the conditions under which we are addressing and ministering to the needs of children and families there. We are gravely disappointed in the actions taken by the Senate in opposing the regular order of Congress. So here she is referencing something proposed by Congress to have more protections for the families. We will continue to fight for our values and priorities in legislation and beyond. Our strongest ally in getting a better policy than that which was passed by the Republican Senate is public opinion. The American people constantly question, why aren't we doing a better job to respect the dignity and worth of the children? The children, the children. The children come first. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that the resources needed to protect the children, or to protect the, okay, I don't know, it cut off. As we pass the Senate bill, we will do to protect the children in a way that truly honors their dignity and worth. Thank you for your continued leadership to protect families, honor our values, and keep America safe. Best regards. So,
explain this to me.
Okay, so I don't know if a lot of people caught it, but it's her passing the Senate bill. The Senate bill had a huge reduction in the amount of protections that these families and immigrants will receive. And she's basically yet again giving in, like she has continuously done, to the Republicans, and not only her, but other Democrats aboard with her as well. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, of course, was not happy about that situation. She called her out on it.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick before you go into AOC. Are you saying that she's having this rhetoric like, oh, this is terrible, it's disgusting, but she's going along with it a la David Atkins way again?
Yeah. So she's
that obfuscating?
That's exactly what she's doing. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys didn't get it, she's talking about how the children come first. She even tweeted about it. She even made herself out to be this martyr that cares about the families at the border. Yet she completely gave in to what the Senate wanted, and she didn't have to do that. We could have fought harder, and this is just another example of what she continuously does. She puts herself as an ally of the immigrant community when she's consistently working with the Republican community to undermine us.
Yep.
And
she needs a phone call, fam. You said AOC was against this?
Yeah. So she said, under no circumstances should the House vote for the McConnell-only bill with no negotiation with Democrats. Hell no. That's an abdication of power we should refuse to accept. They will keep hurting kids if we do. And that's exactly what Nancy Pelosi did. And a lot of people might read that and be like, this is good, because they don't tell you literally like, I just voted for this McConnell only bill that's actually going to reduce protections. That's what she should have said. Instead, she did the whole politician fluff thing. And then she fucking,
let's put that tweet back up. I want to read that tweet one more time. So AOC pretty much called her out and said, under no circumstances should we vote for the McConnell-only bill. So you're saying the McConnell-only bill pretty much took a swipe at the finances and the help that's needed at the border itself? Is that what the McConnell bill is? Or
it's basically they were trying to pass it as a bill that's going to help immigrants, but really their version of it does nothing. It reduces the protections that the House wanted to push through.
Wow. Okay. So now we have it on the hand where they're not taking care of them when they come to our border. Go up to the Nancy Pelosi recognizes Juan Guaido as the president, because once again, fam, we always connect the dots that, all right, the problems at the border do exist. You can call them concentration camps, you can call them whatever you want. They do exist at the border. They're coming there in flocks. But why are they coming in flocks? Because of our interventionist policies. Nancy Pelosi recognized Juan Guaido as the president. And she also, you can say over here, the one that says Pelosi's statement on the situation in Venezuela. Let's get this up, and I'm going to read this. I support the decision of the National Assembly, Venezuela's sole remaining democratic institution, to recognize Juan Guaido, president of the National Assembly, as the interim president until full, fair, and free elections can be held. The United States must respect the legitimate democratic process and support the right of the Venezuelan right of the people of Venezuela to protest and defend their human rights. Nicolas Maduro's regime of repression and impoverishment for his personal enrichment continues to gravely violate human rights and must be condemned swiftly in full and by the full international community. His recent decision to block bridges and cut off channels of food and supplies imperil to the health and the futures of the Venezuelan people and must be immediately reversed. Okay, and she also put up a tweet too, not too long ago in April, still acknowledging right there that these decisions have to be held through. Venezuelans must be allowed to peacefully protest without the fear of government retribution. Maduro needs to acknowledge the will of the Venezuelan people whose moving calls for democracy have been heard around the world. Yeah, number one, they've been heard by a fair and free election. Their election process, fam, is better than ours. Kevin Zeese was on RT the other day talking about these elections. There's no one's quite. They have a people's audit. They go into these places, they pull up machines, they bring it out in front of everybody, they show it to the opposition. Everything is watched. It's under a close eye. These elections were fair and Maduro won. Now, public check, the people's check, right? For the public. They call it the people's audit. The people's public gets to check it, everything. And the opposition is always there to see what's going on. Johnny, we watched this. Your boy Kevin Zeese, who I'd love to speak to one day. It's great. Maybe if you let me speak to him, fam. He's awesome. He talked about it. You know, he was there. And then furthermore, when Pompeo, the tapes were released, that he said there's no opposition, that he would pull out. If Maduro would have pulled out today, there'd be 14 people fighting over the rightful owner. There is no opposition. So since then, Nancy Pelosi should have done an about face and said we need to pull out, hands off Venezuela. She hasn't done it. So not even touching her past history, she hasn't done it.
She won't ever do that. And there's no reason to think she was ever going to do that. She has never been that kind of person.
Well, you know what, fam? What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to call Nancy Pelosi's office with you, and we're going to talk. I'm going to call her first, and I'm going to talk about her intervention, and then fam's going to call her second and talk about immigration. Sound like fun?
Yeah, fam. Let's do
right.
it. We're going to call her live, you guys.
So, we're going to try what should we try, ladies and gentlemen? San Francisco office first or D.C. office? You guys tell us.
All right,
It's past 5 o'clock in D.C.
Okay. Isn't it there till 5:30? Let's call D.C. first, right? It says to 5:30?
Well, it's 3:30 in D.C. right now. I mean 6:30.
It's 6:30.
Never mind. So let's go San Francisco office. We have no choice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pull this up. So here we are. And I'm going to dial it. Let's get you on. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. 415-556-4862. That is Nancy Pelosi's office. Can you see that, ladies and gentlemen? That is Nancy Pelosi's office right there. All right, we got the dog on the phone. Ready? Here we go.
You have reached the San Francisco Constituent Service Office for Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. For office hours and location, press 1. If you have a comment for the Speaker's office regarding a national issue, press 2. And if you are... You have reached the San Francisco message line for Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. We appreciate hearing from you on your comments and concerns.
I'll have to leave her a message.
This voicemail message box will be checked daily and comments will be forwarded to the Congresswoman. Thank you for calling.
Hello, my name is Craig Jardula. I am a concerned citizen. I would like to talk to Nancy Pelosi, and I would like her to address the issue of regime change, mainly her support of it, particularly when it comes to Venezuela. She has stood behind Juan Guaido's leadership, which is just false after the Pompeo tapes, and we know that there is no opposition. We need Nancy Pelosi for once to reverse her position on this regime change and supporting the opposition, call for a lift of the sanctions, and butt out of Venezuelans' business. It will then ease the tension on the border for immigration because we wouldn't have so many people flocking. I am disappointed in Speaker Pelosi, and if she doesn't reverse position on this, I am going to make sure that I go up there and campaign for Shahid Buttar, District 12, against her because I am extremely upset on her position. Once again, my name is Craig Jardula. You can reach me at craigjardula@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Speaker Pelosi, we need answers from you.
I don't want her reaching me.
You want to do it? Well, you just hit yeah.
So
At the top.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, but what am I going to talk to her
You got to
about?
talk about her position, what she did with the immigration, with the way the bill, everything you talked about today. Let her know that we know what she did with that bill. And we're on to your shit, Nancy Pelosi. We got a super chat over there. We'll get to in a sec.
Oh, Nancy. Okay.
So make sure you hold it up and the people can hear.
Okay. Now you guys know her numbers, so.
Yes.
Okay.
top one.
Oh, I don't. How does this?
Speakerphone.
You have reached the San Francisco Constituent Service Office for Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. For office hours and location, press 1. If you have a comment for the Speaker's office regarding a national issue, press 2. And if you are a San Francisco resident in the 12th Congressional District, you have reached the San Francisco message line for Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. We appreciate hearing from you on your comments and concerns. This voicemail message box will be checked daily and comments will be forwarded to the Congresswoman. Thank you for calling.
Hey, Nance. I was just calling. My name is Fiorella Isabel. I was just calling because I really would like you to get your spine back. I'm a little bit worried about the fact that you've lost it. I mean, I think we need to talk to some doctors over here. What is the point of being a Democrat and being a party of immigrants and the working people if you aren't going to actually stand up with your people and fight back? The Donald Trump administration has done vast amounts of damage to an already exacerbated crisis at the border, but you're not even addressing the issues, and instead you're actually voting with them. And you come on Twitter and make tweets about the children, as if you're some sort of martyr, as if you care, as if you've ever had to step foot near the border and actually talk to these people who are sleeping in conditions that even animals aren't subjected to. So maybe instead of bending over and having no spine every single time the GOP forces you to, or supposedly forces you to, you could actually have some sort of cojones, okay, and actually be a chingona and stand up for us, the immigrants, and the people who need your voice and need you to say no. You accepted the McConnell-only bill, and you did not negotiate further enough. The people in your own party are calling you out. And you know what? And if it continues this way, Nancy, we will do everything in our power to get you primaried and out. Thank you very much. You can always reach me at theconvocouch@gmail.com. Bye, Nance.
Whoa! Fam, I didn't know you were going to be that savage.
Well, I mean, I hope she hears it.
She's gonna hear it.
Pretty much how I feel.
She's gonna hear it, guys.
Now
Ladies and
she has
gentlemen.
my email.
We got 40 people watching on a Monday on the Convo Couch YouTube. You guys saw the number up there. Johnny, if there's any way we can leave the number. Guys, call Nancy Pelosi. Hit number 2. Talk about it fair. Let's flood her voicemail, ladies and gentlemen. Let's flood it. That was awesome, fam. I can't believe you just did it. She's corrupt to the core, says the super progressives. James Roguski says you're on fire, fam, and I agree. Unknown Space Pioneer laughed. Audrey D, hey, Nance. He loved that. I was like, hey, Nancy. I was like, hello, Speaker Pelosi. And you were just like, hey, Nance. Fee dropped the hammer, says Anthony Reyes. Joe Snake gives you the alien. Barry Strim says, killed it, girl, with the thumb up. I don't even know how to say that name. Rogue Cow said, well, the planet is dying, so what are we supposed to sound like?
I feel like I'm just over this bullshit idea that we have to be polite to these politicians who really, when you meet them face to face, a lot of them are assholes to you, or they're indifferent, like Hillary Clinton talking to that young black woman that was there. Like, that's how they are. And there are very few politicians that aren't like that, and I've been lucky to have met them, and so is Pasta.
Yeah.
But they're very few.
I just like to point out the politicians who are really entitled, who really have privilege. People like that, like Nancy Pelosi, the reason why she won't go after Donald Trump on impeachment for emoluments is because the woman's made so much money when in office. And FDR said it better than anybody. The only way to make money while in office is to be corrupt. And she is corrupt to the core, just like Chucky Schumer, which tomorrow, fam, on tomorrow's show, I want to tweet at Chuck. So if you guys join us tomorrow, maybe we can tweet at Chuck. We'll do it together live. You know how Johnny loves to get on there. He loves this shit. And we'll have a good time. On the Facebook, I just want to say hi to Lawrence Forbes, Tyler Frick, and
hi, Hilbert.
They're just loving your stuff. Guys, Steve Wilbrent is on the line too as well.
Steve.
Get on the line. Call Nancy Pelosi like we just did. And you guys could play devil's advocate. One could be the nice person like excuse me, Speaker Pelosi, but I think that's wrong what you did. As long as your words are true of actually what she's doing and calling out, then you can be fine. And then somebody can play the fee part and just get savage on them. They love the fact you said, hey, Nance. And I was like, oh, my God. I was picturing myself doing this last night. I'm like, okay, don't say Nancy. Make sure you say Speaker Pelosi because you know when fam gets there, she's going to get savage. Fam, did you want to talk about anything else? Maybe
No.
Elizabeth Warren?
Oh, yeah. So I got a little pissed at Warren, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, because I got some people that say that she's really not doing what I'm saying she's doing. So Elizabeth Warren posted this tweet, and she says, our president shouldn't be squandering American influence on
This is
photo ops
disgusting.
and exchanging love letters with a ruthless dictator. Instead, we should be dealing with North Korea through principled diplomacy that promotes U.S. security, defends our allies, and upholds human rights. So this is in retort to the Washington Post talking about how President Trump was meeting with Kim Jong-un in North Korea, and he's making history crossing the border, the militarized zone, blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing. While I agree with Warren that he shouldn't be wasting time with photo ops, that's not what he's doing here. I understand why you would think that, and a lot of the American public will think that, because he has been like that sort of president that loves to just get attention on himself and really do nothing. And yes, you can call him out on that, absolutely. But here's the part I don't like. The fact that she's continuing the idea of calling him a ruthless dictator, without giving us info as to exactly why are we continuing to push this kind of idea that we have to be against North Korea when we're trying to avoid war. Secondly, she says we should be dealing with North Korea through principled diplomacy that promotes U.S. security. I'm all right with being dealing with North Korea through diplomacy, but when you add the part that says that promotes U.S. security, you're actually talking about something else. What else on earth promotes U.S. security in the American way than war and sanctions and making sure that we are looking at these people as adversaries? That's what's always historically promoted U.S. security. So I look at that and I say military jargon. And then the last one, defends our allies and upholds human rights. Defends our allies. So now we're saying we're arming ourselves with our allies through our language.
Yep.
And we're saying, okay, this is all fluff talk for Trump should be there like as an adversary, pretty much willing and ready to go to war because Kim Jong-un is a dictator and he threatens our democracy because he threatens our money and upholds human rights. This is how they get you. This is like the hook right here. Human rights. They like to say that we care about human rights when time and time again they've shown through actions, through Yemen, through what we've done in the Middle East, the regime changes in Honduras, that we care about human rights. No, we're not doing any of this for human rights. We are all doing this for money-eyed interest and our imperialist desires. Okay. And that's the truth.
I listen, fam. I'm just like one of the. If I can be like, yeah, every single thing you said there, and Johnny, Warren putting the war in Warren is genius up there. We have said this before, ladies and gentlemen. This woman is horrible on foreign affairs. Now, I kind of wanted to go to my tweet, not just to show off my Twitter and stuff, but I can put up some numbers because we have to put things in perspective. When we went into Korea and we did this, if you ever ask anybody, why did we go into Korea in the first place? They won't be able to give you an answer. A lot of people think it was part of American imperialism to show, right after World War II, to show the Russians, to show the Chinese that we're the military might in the world. But while doing that, you have to hit tweets and stuff above because I did it under Elizabeth Warren's name, excuse me. But when we did this, we killed 4.5 million Koreans over like 3 or 4 years, okay? It was disgusting. 3 out of every 4 of those humans that were killed were civilians. We still have 40,000 troops in Seoul, Korea, doing drills every year. And guess what, Johnny? You know who pays for that? We do. You do. The taxpayer. We're still in freaking Korea. We still haven't ended the war. And when Donald Trump, and I don't care if you like Donald Trump, when he goes over to do that, the first president stepping into the North Korean zone, that's about peace. That's about peace. I don't care if it's Marvin the Martian finding fucking peace. It's peace. The fact that you mock him on that just shows you the liberals. Being liberal nowadays, they're warmongers. How can you be a liberal and be a warmonger?
Apparently, that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as we're okay here, the rest of the world can go to hell, according to the neoliberal establishment.
If you're progressive and you support Elizabeth Warren, guess what? You're not progressive.
I 100%
You're not
agree
progressive
with that.
anymore. Let's get that through your head. You're not fucking progressive.
beyond done with her. I am not supporting her.
And
in
I
any
can't
way,
wait
shape,
for
or
these
form.
debates when her and Tulsi are left alone, and she has to talk foreign policy. If you guys didn't notice that she talked a lot in the first part of the debate, the second part of the debate, the establishment and the mainstream media shut her down. They coddled her. They said, let's not put her out there to get killed. But Tim Ryan, he's not one of their chosen ones.
So I have to be fair and say that Bernie Sanders did also say, made a comment on this, and he says, I have no problem with Donald Trump sitting with Kim Jong on North Korea or any place else, but I don't want it simply to be a phony photo opportunity. The whole world's media was attracted there. Listen, Sanders said Sunday in an interview, referring to the moment when Trump became the first sitting U.S. president, what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day? He has weakened the State Department. We need to move forward diplomatically, not just do photo opportunities. Right now, he is still in provocative terms almost moving towards a war with Iran. He vetoed legislation that I supported and that we won in the Senate and one in the House, which would get the United States out of the horrific war in Yemen, which is led by the brutal dictator Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. Okay.
Fam, can we talk about this real talk
I'm
right
going
now?
to talk about this.
Let's talk about this real talk.
I don't think it's the same thing as what she said. I think he should have left off the photo op thing because I don't know who got it from who. I don't know who got it from who, but I think he is tying it to his miscalculations and his misgoings in Saudi Arabia and with Iran, how he was trying to go to war. That's exactly what Trump has tried to do. He's tried to go to war with these places, so he's tying it in with that.
Okay, well, first off, if he wants to understand that, first of all, I have a question for Marnie.
And Yemen.
Well, let me ask you a question, fam.
Yeah.
And I want to say this because, first of all, just simply on Sanders, Johnny, if we can find anything Tulsi said about North Korea, I'd like to see it if we can find anything. But let me say this so much. This was the wrong approach, okay? Bernie Sanders should have took the opportunity and said, this is great. This is awesome that he's doing this in South Korea and North Korea and doing it. Hold on, let me just finish. He said he should have said this is great. However, we also need to emulate the same type of peace process in Iran and go into it. When he's talking negatively about it and saying that it's a photo op, but still saying
he didn't say
it's
it
good,
was a photo op. He said, "I hope it's more than that."
That's still manufacturing some form of consent.
But no, because I told you I didn't have a problem with Elizabeth Warren saying that.
He needs to praise this peace process.
You can't praise Trump and when going into an election as a Democratic candidate, you can't praise him.
You can praise the actions.
You can praise the actions.
There are plenty other actions.
You can praise the actions.
And that's when he's going to win votes because he's not being hypocritical. He's going to oppose him when he does bad, and he's going to praise him when he does good. No president has stepped over the DNV ever, I think, or since they've created it in 1950. He went over and did it. It's a talk of a peace process. He should have followed up and said, great move, Donald Trump. Now let's follow up by pulling our troops out there and saving the American tax people dollars money, and let's end the war. Let's get the peace process going. He could have piggybacked on it, but I understand he's running for president. But these are the opportunities that you cannot miss because when it comes to foreign policy, you got to get better. And Elizabeth Warren completely
She was advocating for war. He's more so tying his misgivings with the whole situation, which he has. Again, I didn't have a problem with Elizabeth Warren talking about the photo op. I really didn't have a problem with that because he has done that. He's deserved that kind of criticism. He goes in and does that.
But not in this incident.
Everything else that she said, no. I think the difference here is one is tying it to his misgivings in trying to go, just giving into Saudi Arabia, giving into Iran, not actually wanting to go with Iran and rejecting the Yemen bill that Bernie put out. I think that was something that he definitely was pissed about and alluded to because Trump isn't this sort of peace candidate. He's not. So we can't say that.
Let me ask you a question though, and I'm going to ask my MCSC audience, YouTube Convo Couch audience, Facebook audience. Let me ask you guys a question: who is better on foreign affairs, Barack Obama or Donald Trump?
Oh, that's an easy one.
Go ahead.
Donald Trump.
Okay. Do you think he would have had this talk when it came to Obama if Obama did this sort of situation? No, he would have been praising him up and down. And even Bill Maher said with the Iran call, we would have been praising Obama up and down. But right now, when he does something good, and I'm sorry, when it comes to peace talk, it's got to be praised. Even Michael Tracy put out a great tweet. I don't care how you feel about this man.
But he hasn't done anything yet, Pasta.
He's
crossed the border.
That is a big move to go over
It
there.
is. No
He's
one's
setting up
saying
the
that.
table for the next guy to come
No
in.
one's saying that, but
Yeah.
you're not going to get people to praise him because he's
You
not
have to
worthy
praise his
of that
action.
praise.
This
No.
for this
No.
action,
No.
he is.
No.
Huh?
No, you're not going to do that.
Maybe not in the primary right now.
Okay, but you don't squash or go at him for this. This is a peace process. You could be manufacturing consent when you say shit like this is bad.
He didn't say this is bad. He said this is. I hope
He
this is not
cherry-picked.
just a photo op.
It
Because
wasn't
he
as
has
bad as
done-
Warren, but he could be better on this.
Say we need real diplomacy.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
He should
And
have said
did
this
it-
is the start of real diplomacy. We need to take it
He could
further.
have done it more positively, I agree, or less negatively. But
I
Bernie
think the
does not
situa-
like Donald Trump, and he's made that very clear.
Look at our
And
audience.
that's how he is.
Joe Rodriguez says neither. Rocky Bellinger says Donald Trump. I agree. Michael Cruz says Trump. What peace process? This is an endorsement of the NK regime and points scored for election 2020. I don't know what she's talking about.
No.
Unknown space pioneer.
Well, why
Okay.
would you say that?
Joe Rodriguez. Mike Walker. It is a process. I don't know if that's like.
Setting up the table. I like what Paz was saying when you were talking about the Iran,
The debate question.
drone that got
Yes.
shut down, and how Trump, decided not to go.
Yes, not the bomb.
Yeah.
You kind of described how having Pompeo and Bolton as like what, dogs on a leash.
Well, I mean, the only explanation, and we've expected, like, when Pompeo and Bolton got hired, and when you have people like Abrams, we expected to already be in Venezuela with a coup. We expected to already bomb Iran. I mean, if it was the Hillary Clinton neoliberal, we would have probably expected that. But what I said, the only, and I said I wish he would fire these guys, and I'm hoping he would. I think he used the tactic as he had the craziest, most vicious dogs on a leash, and he let them get up right to the faces and bark and bark and bark. And these other countries like Iran, like Venezuela, were like, well, he has Pompeo, he has Bolton, we have to negotiate with him because these guys are crazy and they're going to attack us. So I think he tried to force them into a negotiation process, having the craziest dogs on the leash that he threatened to let loose. But here's the thing, he never let them loose. We didn't go into Venezuela. We didn't bomb Iran. In fact, in matter of fact, he did the opposite, and then he follows up right now.
But we didn't just not go into Venezuela because of Donald Trump. We did not go into Venezuela because the people there fought really hard for us to not go,
Yeah.
to not get involved.
I hear you. And the sanctions are still horrible. The sanctions kill poor people, and I wish
Yeah,
people...
he's not an
Yeah.
anti-war president in any way, shape, or form.
No, but we do have to recognize the fact that he's been better than some of the neoliberals that just held office.
I
because
agree.
their rhetoric, and I really tried, fam, and it's really hard. After the Tulsi tweet, when we didn't watch mainstream media, there was a lot of stuff going on mainstream media that we went back like, so I'm trying to force myself to watch a little bit more mainstream media to see the bullshit they're talking about, and it's really, really hard. But they're pushing, and even Anna on TYT, they're pushing this narrative that, oh, Donald Trump's a war president, and we got to get us back in control. Meanwhile, on stage, all these Democratic candidates are talking about China as an adversary, that we have to worry about Russia. They're just as warmongering, if not more, than Donald Trump. So I'm not sitting here and trying to say he's the peace candidate, but I am trying to say that we can't
And
just digress to what we have.
And Democrats are going to lose again if they don't listen to the fact that people are realizing that they are just as bad or worse when it comes to foreign policy. They just are.
And then I also think, like, if he is doing that, I don't think he's intelligent enough to do that strategy, right? To even do the whole holding these vicious dogs.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
I don't think he's that intelligent, but
I think people think they claim he's too stupid. I don't think he's the brightest man in the face of the earth, but
if he knows how to work,
been around.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's been a businessman or whatever. But the other thing that gets me is that they're still pushing for resource extraction, right?
Absolutely.
His Warhawks or Chicken Hawks or whatever, fucking
Chicken Hawks. Thank you, Tulsi.
Yeah.
Tulsi.
I want to say something. Somebody put this on the line, and Tim Flowbug, who's on the Convo Couch YouTube, he said, encourage North and South Korea to do it themselves. They want it. You're absolutely right. He started that process, but then Bolton and Pompeo destroyed it. Okay? Now he's trying to get it back on the table, and hopefully he'll get rid of these people if we really wanted to. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Bernie Sanders has to make sure that he is unequivocally the biggest anti-regime, anti-imperialist president out there. He's got to get closer to Tulsi. So he has to say, I encourage peace processes with North and South Korea. It's time. He should have just piggybacked. We have to go further. And I'll go further than Donald Trump did.
Did you find anything on Tulsi?
Tulsi made a comment previously about, when was it? May May 4th.
Okay.
2018, though.
2018, but let's see what she said back then.
North Korea opportunity, not about Trump, but peace.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Some unconventional, really unprecedented diplomatic moves. The Trump administration looks like it could be about to achieve long-term peace with North Korea, which is amazing and unexpected. In the Middle East, though, the administration appears to be moving toward a possible showdown with Iran. Is this wise? And could, in fact, feuding with Iran imperil negotiations on the Korean Peninsula? Here's what Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii had to say about it. We talked to her a minute ago. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat representing the state of Hawaii, and she joins us now. Congresswoman, thanks for coming on. You've been, I would say, nonpartisan in your assessment of foreign policy issues. You're for some, you're against others connected to the administration based on whether you agree with them. So given that, what's your view of what's unfolding in North Korea?
Well, Tucker, this is actually a really historic opportunity that we see unfolding before us right now. Important to the people of my home state of Hawaii, the people of this country, and to the world, where we have an opportunity to make an agreement that will denuclearize North Korea and help move us closer towards peace. Whatever people feel about Donald Trump, whether they like him or they don't like him, this is the time for people to rise above the partisan politics, recognize this is not about Donald Trump. This is about peace for the American people and for the world, and the opportunity to make an agreement that will finally end the Korean War and bring about the denuclearization of North Korea. If we fail to do this, if President Trump is not successful in this, the consequences would be dire for the people of this country.
That's the language I'm talking about, fam.
Yep.
That's the language
that is
right
perfect.
there. When you call Kim Jong-un a dictator, you're manufacturing consent for your imperialistic warmongering ways. When you call Maduro a dictator, you're manufacturing consent for your imperialistic militaristic ways. When you call Assad a dictator, you're manufacturing consent for your imperialistic warmongering ways.
Let's
And
remember.
So did Elizabeth Warren.
Let's remember. Yeah, I asked someone on Twitter, "Can you please tell me why Kim Un is a dictator?" And because are you just repeating this because
A
you
brutal
hear
dictator.
it from the mainstream media? This is why you got same thing with Assad in Syria.
Yeah.
Same thing with Maduro in Venezuela, as he has said. But we have to remember that FDR was great domestically for a lot of white working class people, but FDR was not great on foreign policy. And here's the Tulsi Gabbard effect, is that she is amazing when it comes to foreign policy, and she absolutely puts the logic over the initial emotions that a lot of the left get, where, oh, if Trump's doing it, then I can't even say anything good about it. And then they're manufacturing consent that way, because then people are like, okay with us not being okay avoiding war with North Korea. We'd rather have Trump fail at that, which might lead into nuclear war, which is bad. It's bad for everybody. It doesn't matter. And that's what Pasta's trying to get to. And I agree with you on that, is that it's not about praising Trump. It's not about squashing him either. This is about peace and making sure that neither the American people or people abroad suffer either in death or economically because of the effects of war, and nuclear war would also destroy our planet as well. Yeah, Tulsi gets it.
I just want to say a couple final things before we get on out of here. There's some people on our chat. Seremis, I'm not going to even pay attention to you if you're going to be nasty like that. Keen James, Marbom, hello, Joe Howard, PDD, thank you so much. We had 80 people watching on the Convo Couch. YouTube on a Monday. We can't thank you enough. We love you. And if you have a few extra bucks to spare, our Patreon information is down below. Whatever you give us, we put into action and we make it work. Over on the MCSC network, we have Raul Morales hanging around, Keel Jones. You guys are such a great audience. Rogue Cal, thank you so much. David Massell, I didn't get a chance to see when I asked the question, who is better in foreign affairs, foreign policy, either Trump or Obama, on the MCSC network. We do have a super chat. I just want to get to it. It's from Charles Pereira. You're all so nice with these imperialists. Here's hoping for Pelosi to have a stroke or a heart attack ASAP. My man, I don't wish for any of that stuff on anybody. However, I'm not going to hold it against you, because that woman has put her boot on the people's throats, especially immigrants' throats, which she's doing right now. She's giving in, and she's obfuscating the whole time.
But she makes a great tweet, and of course the mainstream media is like, Nancy loves and cares about the children.
Super
Nance.
chat, Lori, the super chat, well, hopefully we're waiting for approval, and maybe it will be here soon. Ceremis Pelosi 2020, I don't even know why I'm saying your name. Avalon 19, good show. Fee and Pasta. Join us tomorrow on Tuesday as we'll be doing our
Let's
show.
say bye to the Facebook too.
I didn't even the Facebook fans over there. I'm sorry, Tyler Frick, Gilbert Flores, Lori Lamb. We love you guys, especially Gilbert Flores. We see you out and about. We know who you are. We know our activists in the street. Steve Wilbrandt, you got a shirt coming. Rocky B. Bellinger, my man, you got a shirt coming. So tomorrow we got some stuff going on, fam. Tomorrow, can we get savage on Twitter and tweet at Chuck Schumer with our audience?
Yeah, fam, let's do it. Let's tweet at Chucky T. Chucky S.
We'll tweet at Chuck the Schmuck. Thank you so much for joining on in. Also, we have a Common Couch YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagrizzy, and we got to get going on the Twitch, fam.
We do have to get going on the Twitch. Fam.
So, thank you for joining us once again. My name is Pastor Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella. Happy Monday, guys.
For
Drink
Johnny
your coffee.
Tsunami.
Bye.
Peace.
Say our line.
Combo out.
Peace.